A deputy chief with the Fort Wayne Police Department under investigation tonight. Good evening. I'm Brett Thomas.
And I'm Alyssa Ivanson in for Heather. An apparent road rage incident ended up with a deputy chief, Derek Westfield, in a fight with a minor. 15 Finds Out got the police report, and now the case is under investigation by the police department and the prosecutor's office. The roundabout at Auburn and Union Chapel Roads. That's where Allen County Sheriff Department records say it started. It ended in the Falcon Creek addition a mile and a half down the road. Fort Wayne Police Deputy Chief Derek Westfield involved in a fight with a 17-year-old. The police report says Westfield was in his personal vehicle and off duty when the incident happened early Sunday morning. Two teens in a car in the roundabout say Westfield cut them off. They flashed their lights at him and say Westfield then brake-checked them. The teens passed Westfield and continued to the Falcon Creek addition. Westfield followed them in, he says, because he also lives there. When the teens pulled into a home on Millennium Crossing, Westfield stopped and got out. Westfield says the teens were being aggressive, and when he tried to hold one back, the 17-year-old punched him, and then the two fought. The teens say Westfield pushed the 18-year-old first. Westfield was on top of the 17-year-old until the boy's father came outside and told him he's a Parkview police officer. Westfield then identified himself as a city officer and got off of the teen. The teen's family declined to comment today. 15 Finds Out also requested an interview with the police chief, Steve Reed. He said he wasn't available. We're told FWPD Internal Affairs is reviewing the case to determine if Westfield broke any department policies. He is continuing with his deputy chief duties during that review. 15 Finds Out also got Westfield's record while on the department. He was promoted to deputy chief in 2014. Since joining the department in 1995, he has had 3 commendations and 4 disciplinary actions. Letters of reprimand for 2 vehicle crashes and for improper conduct in 1996. In 2007, he was suspended for not being in compliance when submitting a form to work a part-time job and for improper conduct for inappropriately using his police resources while working a part-time job. We will stay on top of this investigation and update you on their outcomes.
News Channel 15's Alyssa Ivanson just got to the scene. She's live at the home. So what do you know, Alyssa?
Well, I actually just spoke with the man who lives in this house just a few moments ago, and he said 2 years ago today his family moved into this home here on Cliffgate Pass. Today, it burned down. You can see behind me where part of the roof has collapsed there in the center, and 4 different fire departments on the scene right now, and they're doing what's called overhaul, where they are now checking for any hot spots, any places the fire could still be smoldering. You can see it's still smoking there in the center of the house. When firefighters got here, they said it was fully engulfed. Actually, nobody was home at the time of the fire. A neighbor saw flames coming out of the front door, according to firefighters, and they called it in. The homeowner then arrived pretty quickly and actually was able to get one of their dogs out. Nobody was hurt in this fire, no animals or people, but as you can see, a lot of damage and destruction to the home here. 4 different fire departments on the scene: Arcola Volunteer Fire Department, Boyd Township, Jefferson Township, and Southwest Fire District. I've counted at least 13 different fire apparatus as well. You can see firefighters out in the yard getting a lot of kind of rehydration after putting out this fire, but again, right now working to make sure it does not reignite. But nobody was hurt in this fire 2 years ago today when the homeowner moved in. Back to you.
It's just unbelievable within minutes what could happen. I just saw it all.
The Hines have lived in their Hamilton home for 22 years.
We don't have this.
Near Church and Water Streets.
Not around here.
But Wednesday night.
That was really a shocker.
Their normally quiet street.
Just kind of pushing and shoving, and they was back behind the car and around the house there.
I saw the guy have a knife in his hand just waving it around.
Was full of police.
It was freaky too. It's like, man, I'm calling, I don't care. If nobody doesn't get hurt, the cops are going to show up.
But someone did get hurt.
Next thing I know, I turn around, and that's when they were walking up with him, and that's when I told dispatch, we need an ambulance ASAP. Somebody's neck got slit.
You can see where the victim went after he was cut. There's still blood on the driveway and on the street, and the neighbors say he made it as far as the front area of that grass before he collapsed.
He dropped right here in our front yard by the sidewalk.
We went and got bed sheets and helped the guy out as best we could.
The only thing I can think of is putting pressure on his neck to stop the bleeding.
You just do it. I'm a veteran, so it's just kind of second nature to jump in and help. So that's what we did.
It was just unbelievable of how much blood you can lose getting slit in the throat. Unbelievable.
Police say a 50-year-old man was cut on his neck and taken to a hospital in critical condition. The Hines say it was a slice several inches long on the side of the neck.
I just hope and pray that that guy's okay. That's all I'm worried about.
We knocked on the door of the house where the fight happened and heard a man's voice inside, but no one answered.
The guy that was on the motorcycle, it was his dad that got slit. I was told that it was over the guy that lives down here. He was stealing items from the guy on the motorcycle and his girlfriend. Okay. That's all I heard. So I don't know how true that is.
Police tell me today they are still investigating, and while people have been questioned, no one has been arrested. In Hamilton, Alyssa Ivanson, News Channel 15.
With his hand over his heart, a 12-year-old boy stood by himself watching the procession for fallen firefighter Eric Balliet pass by last week.
First responders and Eric's family, they wanted to meet the young man who brightened a very dark day. Alyssa Ivanson was at the fire station when they got to shake hands and share a hug. She has a story now you'll only see on News Channel 15. Alyssa.
A viewer sent us this picture of a boy with his hand over his heart during Eric Balliet's procession. We didn't know who he was, but when I posted it on social media, the response was incredible. Thousands of likes, shares, comments, and it didn't take too long for someone to recognize him. 12-year-old Ethan Highguy, who says he was just doing what he thought was right. As the miles-long funeral procession wound through Fort Wayne for Captain Eric Balliet, people lined the streets to say goodbye. But one boy,
and I had no idea what he was going to do.
This boy,
I'm like, look at this kid. Look at what he's doing.
standing alone, stood out.
I firmly believe that Eric is living on through a lot of different things that happen daily. And, you know, that moment right there was like, wow.
12-year-old Ethan Highguy hopped out of his grandma's car.
Put his little hand on his heart.
Immediately puts his hand over his heart.
And touched the hearts of thousands.
I just wanted to give his family and him more respect because I know he puts his life on the line every day.
Ethan's grandparents adopted him. His grandpa Joe taught him a lot about life.
Always respect your elders and always respect people that respect you and help you.
And about loss. Ethan's grandpa died last year.
I'm going through my grandpa's loss too, and I want to give hope to other people about Eric's family's loss.
And he just cried. And it's like because of the loss of the kids in the family, and he felt so bad for them because we've had our loss. He knows how hard it is.
But on a day consumed with grief, Ethan gave a glimmer of goodness.
My faith has been slightly restored.
Now firefighters.
There's a bucket on the front of this one, and it goes 100 feet in the air. Yeah.
Scary.
It's awesome.
Are giving some goodness back.
Are you ready to go full-blown firefighter?
A tour of Station 15.
This office right here is Captain Balliet's office.
Eric's station. And dinner.
We're proud of you. All of us are very proud of you.
Even ice cream cake.
It was cool because I got to sit where he sat all the time, and I got badges, patches, and I got a new nickname. Captain Balliet's nickname was Shmoo, and they call me Mini Shmoo. I think it's cool because me and Balliet have a lot of things in common, they were saying.
He's very humble, as Eric was.
I think Eric would smile. I do believe he is smiling. He is smiling, and he would give Ethan as big as a bear hug as he would anybody else.
Eric would have loved this guy. He really, really would have. He's a good kid.
With a smile as infectious as Eric's.
And that kid has got a compassionate heart.
At Station 1, shaking hands and sharing hugs with Eric's family, Ethan found a new family too.
These guys just really made his day, and it's really boosted his self-esteem.
They all respect me too. They make me have self-esteem shoots through, and it feels like I have a nice people that care about me.
We are just want to wrap our arms around him and continue to support whatever his future brings.
Which, according to Ethan, is likely to have a fire truck involved.
I think he probably, I hope he did anyhow, felt a little bit of Eric's presence down there because between the two of them, they made two great individuals.
That they did. Ethan also learned judo from his grandpa. He says the rules of that martial art form are always respect and be kind. Words we can all live by. In Studio 15, Alyssa Ivanson, News Channel 15.
Shots fired near downtown Fort Wayne. The SWAT team was called in. Police arrested one man and guns were taken off the street. No one got hurt. Police say it's situations like these that show their training pays off. News Channel 15's Alyssa Ivanson was at the scene this morning and breaks down what happened.
Well, this is cell phone video I took of police officers removing 2 rifles from a house on East Berry Street. This the result of a quick response to a man shooting a rifle while walking down the street.
First of all, let me just say we have no active shooter situation going on.
But there was someone on the street firing a few rounds into the air.
It's too crazy. That's all I can say. It's just too crazy. It's got to stop.
An Allen County Sheriff's officer driving back to headquarters downtown heard the shots around 900 East Washington and saw the man with an AK-47 style rifle go into the house at 820 East Berry Street.
Johnny on the spot, if you will.
Backup called in. Emergency services team members called for anyone inside the house to come out.
Not all at one time, but eventually we had everybody exit that house successfully. Yes, ma'am.
But the officers still got a warrant to go inside.
We had shots fired. We had to make sure, number one, that there was no one that needed aid, and number two, that there was no one else in the house that was trying to elude officers.
The house did not have any more people inside, but police did find 3 firearms.
They were described as 2 AK-47s and a handgun.
Police questioned several people who were in the home to figure out exactly what happened. 18-year-old Ali Sultan was arrested on an outstanding warrant. He was wanted for visiting a common nuisance on June 19th.
This is what we do. We train for this. We have the resources, and this is exactly the type of response that we're going to have for these types of situations, which turned out perfectly. We've got one person that had an active warrant. He's in arrest. We've recovered 3 firearms. If there's anyone in our community, regardless of where they're at, acting out in an aggressive manner, we'll take care of it.
Everyone who was brought in for questioning has been released, and there aren't any new charges or arrests. It's still unclear tonight who was firing the rifle in the street to begin with, but police tell me this still is under investigation. Alyssa Ivanson, News Channel 15.